What's up, football fans? Welcome into NFL Daily by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Thanks for hanging out with me on the show today. And speaking of the show, we've got some juicy new draft rumors to talk about. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Some of these came out of left field. Shedeur Sanders potentially getting drafted by the Steelers, and the Saints maybe trading their quarterback situation and drafting one. And then also, could the Patriots be trading down? Now, this is why you subscribe. We are in full draft mode. We're full speed ahead. 3 weeks time. It is 3 weeks from today. Hit subscribe and make sure you lock us in for everything surrounding the NFL draft here on Chat Sports. Now, before we get into our rumors, here's a little bit of breaking news in case you missed it earlier today. The New England Patriots are trading, or have traded, I should say, Joe Milton to the Dallas Cowboys. He is now going to be the backup for Dak Prescott. So Adam Schefter dropped this. I like to throw in a little bit of news every once in a while, so it's not just rumors that we're talking about. We actually hit things that happen here in the NFL. So Joe Milton, welcome to the Dallas Cowboys, my friend. You are now the backup to Mr. Dak Prescott. Now on to the rumors. Sanders to the Steelers? Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Even 24 hours ago, I would have told you were absolutely insane for suggesting this. But it's not just me that's saying that. Adam Schefter has reported that Shedeur Sanders to Pittsburgh is a possibility. In fact, here's what he had to say about it officially. He was on a podcast talking to somebody about this. I think the only quarterback that they would consider, talking about the Steelers, me reading between the lines, would be Shedeur Sanders. But I can't imagine he's going to slide all the way to 21. So Pittsburgh would have to be willing to trade up to a certain point to get Shedeur Sanders if he gets past the other spots. It's starting to feel like New York and the Patriots, so Giants at 3 and 4, are starting to look elsewhere other than quarterback. So if the Browns don't take Shedeur Sanders at 2 and the Giants don't take Shedeur Sanders at 3, where's he going to go? Well, hold on, though. Let's just kind of gather all of our thoughts here for a second. Shedeur Sanders is 100% a first-round quarterback. He does too many things well to slide all the way down to 21. So he's not going to go down to 21. However, I do understand Schefter's point when he says, well, if he's not going to be taken at 3 by the Giants and they're not going to take him at 4 with the Patriots, so if Cleveland doesn't take him, well, who takes him? Well, there's a bunch of other teams that would absolutely and gladly draft Shedeur Sanders. But let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, the prospect, first. Last year at Colorado, he was phenomenal, right? 4,100 yards. He had 41 total touchdowns. He did have 10 interceptions, but he was throwing like crazy. And with how bad his offensive line was, to complete 74% of your passes is crazy work. So he's an accurate quarterback, can make plays outside of the pocket. He's got good athleticism, not great. Good, not great arm. I feel like Shedeur Sanders is a draft and sit situation if the Steelers decide to move up for him. So, again, will the Steelers absolutely say, hey, we're all in on Shedeur, we're going to draft him and sit him a year, but then that leaves a hole because they got rid of both of their quarterbacks. So, who are you going to be sitting behind? Well, I think we all know that this guy right here, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, is still very much in contention for the Pittsburgh Steelers job. Now, this to me is an unbelievable situation for the black and gold. If you sign Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year, $20 million deal, you draft Shedeur and move up, you give up some draft capital, and you let him sit behind one of the greatest minds and greatest talents to ever play the game, you are in a hell of a position. Now, again, like I said, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I don't think Pittsburgh has enough to move up to draft Shedeur. They would have to give up a boatload of picks to move up to like number 3 or number 4, for example. But I'm going to ask you this. Do you think the Steelers draft Shedeur Sanders? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I'm going to pencil in no for right now. But my mind and the machinations and the gears, they're all kind of turning right now. So it's a soft no for right now. But I think the more information comes out about this story, the more I could be inclined to say yes. Now on to our next juicy rumor. The Saints quarterback trade situation. Is Derek Carr the quarterback of the future for the Saints? I think the answer is unanimously no. However, there's a lot of people that have been saying it's going to be sooner than you think that the Saints are going to try to move off of him. In fact, Ian Rappaport said, and I quote, "Wouldn't be surprised by a Saints quarterback trade." Now, does that mean that you're going to be trading for a quarterback? No, it means you'd be trading Derek Carr to another team for draft capital. But here is what Ian Rappaport had to say about the whole situation. If there was a quarterback there that they would like in the top 10, meaning the Saints, they for sure would take one. Would not be surprised if they traded back in the first round to get a third or fourth quarterback. The Saints don't need one, but for sure they are a team that could end up taking a quarterback in late April. Correct. The Saints don't need a quarterback because Derek Carr is a very capable starter in the NFL. However, I have been talking to our Saints host, Mr. Trace Gerard, by the way, we share the same name, and he has been all over this potential trade, so much so, he sent me his trade, well, mock trade, I guess you could call it. This is what has been projected. The Saints would receive the 2025 second-round pick from the Washington Commanders, and the Saints would send a third-round pick and a fourth-round pick. So my guess is the Saints will not draft a quarterback in round one. They'll look for a quarterback later on in the rounds. So who do the Saints draft at quarterback? There is one name in particular that has been linked to the Saints more recently, and it's gaining steam, and you're not going to believe who it is. I couldn't believe who it is or who it was when I heard. Now, before I give you that, I want to give a major shout out to our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the premier destination to get real money sports action. All you have to do is very simple. Head on over right now to the App Store and download PrizePicks. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. You can join 10 million members and counting. Springtime is officially here and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less for your shot to, like I said, win up to $1,000 times your cash today on PrizePicks. Again, all you have to do is download the purple P with the black box. It's very simple. And when you do that and use code CLNS, you can get up to $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks is the sponsor of today's video, and we thank them so much. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, so again, I was thinking about this, and this is the name that has been linked to the Saints. Will Howard from Ohio State. Now, our Saints host hates this pick, but I'm not so sure it's that awful. So Field Yates has the Saints selecting Will Howard with that trade. And let's talk a little bit about Will Howard. After he won the national championship last year with Ohio State, he's been gaining a lot of steam as a quarterback that could potentially take over for a franchise year one. Now, here are some pros. He's got great size and great mobility. He's a functional quarterback and good at avoiding sacks, meaning he's able to slide up the pocket, move outside of the pocket, and make plays. Now, there are some cons to every single pro. He's a little bit turnover prone, right? Fumbles the ball, throws a couple interceptions, but he's accurate when he's connecting and on his game. He is phenomenal. He's got the size and the traits that you're looking for in an NFL quarterback. With that being said, he is not a round two quarterback. There's a reason, think about it, that every single analyst has projected for him to go third round and beyond. Why? Because he doesn't possess the same talent that some of the other guys going in the first round do. He doesn't have the arm strength of a Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders. He's mobile, but not incredibly mobile so that he can make plays with his legs. So I like Will Howard in the third or the fourth round for a team, but definitely not in the second. So I feel like if the Saints were going to draft a quarterback, make it in the third or the fourth and have them sit and develop behind Derek Carr. Let the 2025 season play out. But it's not up to me, right? I'm not the Saints GM. I'm not Mickey Loomis, so I can't make that decision. But I'm going to ask you this question. Would you accept this trade? Would you do this trade, I should say? Type A for accept or D for decline. Like I said, I don't think Will Howard, the pick, is bad. I think the place you're getting him is bad, if that makes sense. All right, on to our last juicy rumor of the day, the Patriots trading down. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This one, I have a hard time believing that it would actually happen. Now, I know that Adam Schefter has been very vocal the last couple of days, and he reported on a recent podcast that the Patriots could potentially be trading down with the idea that Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter would not be there at pick 4. In fact, this is the exact podcast that he was on. He was on Los Talks Pat. So it's a Patriots, New England sort of podcast that's he was featured on, and this is basically what was kind of taken away from it. The current feeling is that neither the Browns nor the Giants will select a quarterback at 2 and number 3 per Adam Schefter. That means the Patriots would most likely have to miss out on Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. So the Cleveland Browns pick at 2, they're going with Abdul Carter, and then at 3, the Giants would take Travis Hunter. So the Patriots then are in a little bit of a predicament. Who do they take at pick 4 if this happens, according to Adam Schefter? Well, Will Campbell, Armin Membu, and Jalen Walker. I don't think it needs to be said the Patriots' offensive line was one of the worst in the NFL last year. In fact, it was actually ranked 31st, right in front of the Bears, who Caleb Williams took 67 sacks last year, which was like 4th all time. But the Patriots weren't much better. They may not have given up 67 sacks, but their offensive line was atrocious. So, with that being said, Campbell is obviously the pick at number 4. If those two guys aren't there, I can't stress that enough. I think Hunter will be there, and that's who they'll take. But in the event that it doesn't happen, you have to take Will Campbell. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about his arm length, and is he fit enough and big enough to play left tackle? And I'm sure he's tired of hearing that. I'm going to tell you this right now. Will Campbell is going to be a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. I don't know that it'll be at left tackle, but he'll be a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. So if this is one of those situations where you start him at left tackle, see what he's got, and if it's not working out, kick him inside to left guard. He is by far athletic enough, big enough, light enough on his feet. He's great with his hands. The only issue that people are having with Will Campbell is quite literally the length of his arms. That's the biggest thing. And they're saying because the arm length with, getting around defenders or making sure that they stay at bay, you have to have that like wingspan in order to cover enough area. But for a guard, that doesn't necessarily need to happen because you're just pushing, right? It's more of a push-pull sort of situation rather than keeping your arms out and trying to keep a defender from coming off the edge. So again, all of those things wrapped up mean that it is NFL draft time. And I am so excited. I have been all in on the draft here at Chat Sports. I cannot wait for Thursday night, the 25th. I know you are too. So lock us in. Hit that subscribe button. It is completely free, and we will see you next time. My name is Moose. Be cool.